Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of our Veterans Stories right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful guest here today is Nicole Gebhardt,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
mother of six, brave enough to admit that she lost a child, brave enough to admit that she suffered from alcoholism. She is a veteran's spouse. So she is constantly on the move, constantly having to make new friends, kids in new schools. She knows what it's like to be on the front lines of being a military spouse. And we forget about that. You know, we celebrate all the people that are out there in the world serving our country, but what about the wives and the children? They're serving as well. They're sacrificing for us as well. There's not enough said about them. There's not enough said about the difficulties and the challenges that they have to go through, and that very often they are the warriors on their own front because they haven't got the spouse to turn to. So they're carrying it all themselves, and that should not be. We have an awful lot to talk about today, but she's the CEO and founder of the Spiritual Lighthouse Healing and Guidance. The best teachers are those that have gone through the pain. They understand, but they also know what got them out of it, and they know what to share today. She's a graduate from the University of Alabama, and has an MS degree in human development and family studies with the emphasis in child life. Her degree in business communications from Florida State University. Additionally, she is a CCLS certified life specialist and sacred Usui Reiki master, Holy Fire, Karuna, and Reiki master. My goodness, I don't know how she has time. Really, where do you have time? You have six kids, you're always on the move, you're wearing all of the hats. Where do you have time to go get
I
all
am
these
a
degrees?
firm believer. If it's something that you want, you make time for it. If it's something you're passionate about, you can find the time for it. I'm a firm believer with that.
Yeah, yes. And it really comes down into the attitude, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You know, I love turning every possible negative into a positive. It makes life so much more fun, so much more enjoyable to be positive and happy.
It does. And also to not look at the negatives all the time as doomsday. You know, if there's a
Right.
negative, maybe it's for you to find the positive in it. Maybe
Right.
the negative is there for a reason. It's telling you you're going down the wrong road or you're doing the wrong thing. It's not serving you. So,
Right.
you know, it's not like, negative, I'm going to be la, 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 positive. It's
Mm-hmm.
addressing the negative. Why is it there? And how can I find my positivity?
Right. And I feel very blessed that I have found that. You know, I've been through quite a bit in my life. I was molested as a little girl. I was raped in college, my freshman year at Florida State. I lost my first son. I walked in on him when he was dead in his crib. I've had multiple miscarriages, abused my first marriage, divorce, alcoholism, 16 months sober today. Just a couple of days ago.
Bravo!
Thank you. Thank you. But I'm a firm believer, and I know that a lot of people question this, but I know that I experienced all of that so I can be the woman that I am today. So I can be that woman to help so many others, to show them that you can go through anything and you can get through it. You never get over it. You never get over losing a child, but you absolutely can get through it and get to the other side. So that is what I feel like my life passion I'm here to do, is to just help so many others.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you've been on Facebook, you know, openly admitting, look, I'm struggling. You know, like
Oh
the
yeah.
bottle is calling me, but I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm struggling. And people don't understand how much strength and courage that takes to admit you're struggling, because so many people feel shamed in the struggling. And I've
Right.
got to hide it. I've got to toughen it up, you know, as the British say, suck it up, you know, think of England, you know, and it's, no, this is what suppresses the immune system. This is what adds pressure to the depression. This is what kind of cripples us. And we need to talk about it, not in any
Right.
form or light of shame or blame, but a fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is you lost your child. You've been through numerous things in life that nobody should go through.
Mhm.
Alcoholism became a crutch for you for a while. until you
Right.
realize, no, this is not serving me. It was the negative.
Right. There's been 3 really big times in my life where drinking was how I coped with it. The first one was when I lost my son. And the second one, my husband deploys frequently, and he was on a deployment, and it was just too much. I had all these babies running around. I was all by myself while he's just far, far away from me. And the third time, it was actually October 15th of 2019. I fell down 2 flights of stairs. My husband found me at the bottom. All my children were home. It was Infant Loss and Miscarriage Awareness Day. And, I was barely breathing. I was unresponsive, got me to the hospital. Even the doctors didn't know I would make it. And then after a week in ICU, I came out and I made it. And I knew then things had to change. Yes. My children didn't deserve me to be an alcoholic. My husband didn't deserve me. My friends didn't deserve that. They deserved so much more. And I haven't had a sip since. And it's just been such a godsend. And life is so much different now. It's so much more beautiful. It's so much more enjoyable. And I've actually been able this last year to properly grieve my son, because I was drinking for years, Yes. And I now have been able to really, and it's not easy. It does not make it easy, but it makes it more easier to deal with, more real, without just like, oh, I'm just going to drink away the pain. That doesn't really do anything. And I'd like to tell people, especially, military wives, and with the pandemic, there's been a lot of alcohol. I was talking to a friend the other day, and depression is up, suicide is up, drinking is up, all of that. And I can see how it's so hard. There's so many things going on right now. But if I can tell people one thing, life is so much more beautiful when you're sober. It truly is. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I talked about that this week to my friends. It's not easy, but my son doesn't want to see me down here drinking away. He wants me to be that good mom. He wants me to be there for my children. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm so grateful to be doing it.
And, I call that the cosmic 2x4. We get signs all along the line, you shouldn't. And just one last drink, oh, no, I'm fine. And then you find your hand with the drink, right? It's whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's an addiction of any kind, that addictive nature is trying to suppress something and deal with something in a different light. And it never does work. But, we get all of those signs, and then one day it's like, okay, bam, there's the cosmic 2x4, 3 flights of stairs, right? I see you. Do you get the message now?
I finally got it. Yes. It took me a hot minute, but I got it.
But that's what sometimes it takes.
It does. I think it does hit the rock bottom. I think some people need to be. I know in my case, that's what it was.
And you were probably kind of always with the dialogue, I can cope. No, this is okay. I've got it under control.
Just one more little sip. Just one more. Daddy's working, just a little bit more.
Yeah. And then 6 kids running around, and we know, how demanding they can be. They're 24/7.
24/7.
And the whole thing is, it's not like 9 to 5, I can go home and have time to myself. No,
right. No.
If the hubby is away, or whatever military spouse is away, you are on your own. It's not like wait until daddy gets home.
Right. But being sober and being clean, I did learn the importance of self-care. It is so important. I don't care if it's a 10-minute bath. I'll get in. Just to have 10 minutes without children, like at the little door, or now even our dog, Goose. It's so important to take care of yourself. Even if I have to, we live across from the beach, hop over to the beach, watch the sunset. It's a good grounding time for me to leave all the children for just a few minutes. And even if it's just a minute, it's so important to find that time for yourself, because that's what makes you to be a better mother, a better wife, a better friend, because you're better, and you feel better.
Yes, that is 100% key. And again, as women, it's almost we're taught to be sacrificial. We're the servant, and no, we're not. We are abundant in our capabilities. We're super abundant in our love, and we are inclined to give more than we have to give, more than we replenish in ourselves.
Right.
And where does that serve anyone if you're depleted?
Oh, I agree with you. And even like being a military spouse, it makes it even harder. Yeah. Our family moves every 18 months. We've moved like 5 times in the last 70, like incredibly a lot of times. And you're starting over. There's new schools, new friends, new doctors, new dentists, new restaurants, new everything. And we're just used to that as being military. You just go, you know, it's hard to keep down a career. It's hard to maintain anything because you're just constantly on the move and starting over. But that's one of the big things I've noticed too. Military spouses, we need it so much. We need some of that time. We need to be able to put ourselves first sometimes. And we rarely do it, rarely. But it's very important to realize that.
Yes. And you know, it's not just like you're dealing with the new, the kids are too.
Exactly.
They've made friends, and you've got to uproot your friends again. You've got to move again. There's a brilliant book here, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, MD. I don't know if you've read it. Have you?
I have not read that.
Oh, this is a must. And the beautiful thing is there is an exquisite illustration book of Who Moved My Cheese for children that is absolutely gorgeous. And it's about change. It's about being able to move forward. And it's about two mice and two men around abundant of cheese. And then one day the cheese is gone, and it's the different reactions. And we have 4 key personality traits, and each one of those traits is going to react in a different way. You have 6 kids, you have yourself. You may, okay, here we go again, roll up the sleeves, and maybe some of your kids are like that, but you may have a personality trait in one of your kids, and I don't want to go again. I don't want this disruption. So you're not only dealing with the disruption yourself, you're now dealing with the child who's going through this, who doesn't want it. So it's not just you yourself dealing with what you have to deal with, you've also got to deal with all of those 6 kids as well. Puppy's away, he's not getting it.
Yeah. We get to the new location. We just came from DC, excuse me, we were stationed at the Pentagon, and then we come here, and then all of a sudden he's got his, you know, he goes straight to work, and he travels quite a bit with his position here. So it's just, I got to hold down the fort no matter what. Doesn't matter if he's home or not. I have to do it. I've got all these babies that depend on me. You know, and it is tough. They have to make all new friends, and I'm, you know, friends are everything. True friendship is just everything, you know. And I've noticed too, if I let it come out of our mouth that we're Air Force, very quickly people turn around. They don't want to know that, oh, she's going to leave in a couple of years. I don't want to invest in this friendship. And it's tough. And I can't even think of, I wasn't a military child. So you know, I was born and raised in the same place. My children aren't like that. They need the friendships. They need that.
And you know, I suppose there is the thing like the internet, which COVID has brought awareness to many people that you can maintain friendships by Zoom and things, but it's not quite the same. But it's still a way of kind of keeping friends, and when they're old enough they can actually physically go and see each other, right? So it's a hook in, but it's not the whole picture. But you know, you're juggling all the balls. And it's really difficult to do, because on a daily basis, you know, the 6 kids, the dog, you know, when the spouse comes home, your own self, your business. And we are super women. Yes, I'm sorry. Men, we're super, we can multitask. We can do so many things. We can juggle it all at the same time, but there's a cost to it. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to pay that big cost.
That's so true. So very true. It's very important. Like I said, whether it's, you know, I don't drink anymore. So some of the things that help me not drink is a Shirley Temple. And Jeff, my husband, knows if I've pounded a couple Shirley Temples, I needed a drink. Mama needs a break. And then another thing is taking a bath, or just something. Like I said, it doesn't have to be this huge thing, but taking care of yourself. And it feels so amazing to just get your hair done, or just something like that. It doesn't have to be this big thing. Just something where it's a few minutes for you to just refocus and just catch up with everything that's going on around you.
You know, there's the old adage saying, oxygenate yourself on the plane. Right? You know, there's no point, if you're dead because you've got no air, how can you put the mask on anyone else? So we forget that as mothers, because what we see in front of us is a situation that needs to be dealt with. You know, it's lunchtime, it's dinner time, it's game time, it's homework time, it's this time. I've got to take this one to this and this one to that. And it's like, where do you find the time? But this is where it comes into where you have to then turn around to your kids, look at the various ages, delegate chores and duties to them, and say, we are all in this family, you're all going to participate. And everybody's going to be there for each other. And when Mum's got the Shirley Temple and I need a break, leave her alone.
That's so true. And they all know it, because they're all old enough now to see, okay, we probably want to back away right now. Mama needs a break.
Yes. And you know, to respect that. To respect that, it's like, well, what's wrong with you, mom? You know, the worst thing you can do is it menopause, or is that time of month? And it's like whack, with that. It can be every time of the month if you have that attitude, right?
Yeah. And we're really blessed that we've got just amazing good kids. I've taught them very young, kind of like I was. You play outside and ride your bike until it's dinner time, and you ring the bell.
Yes.
My kids love being outside, and it's amazing. They're all best friends. We blended. My husband had 3 children, and then I had 2 and was pregnant actually with Harper, my last one. Our first date was New Year's Eve. We were engaged by that February, and we were married by that June, and we just knew it. And the children just immediately, they were all so little. That's all they've known. My husband ended up adopting my kids as well. And so they're just these beautiful best friends, and they just love to be with each other. And that's another thing, when we move so often, they've always got a best friend. They've got someone, and it's a beautiful, it's half a basketball team, but we make it happen,
There's the Lachelle Atkins, America's Supermom. She has 15 kids, 13 she birthed herself, right? And she's out there doing this and doing that, and she's just and she's so calm. Everything about her so calm about it. And what? I dated someone who was divorced that had 9 kids. And when we took them out, I had 3 kids, and it was always juggles, be nice to each other. But with the 9 kids, as you said, they're already a friendship there. They were they were already looking out for each other. They already knew what they like to do with each other. And so they just was self-sustainable. So that is one of the godsends of being on the move all the time. As you said, they're taking their friendship with them. Right. And it's, when they get into the teenage years, yes, they need their peers, right? So that's a different type of thing. But again, online if they need to, on the phone if they need to, and there is a way of always getting together. But I think a lot of people do go wrong in not including their kids in responsibilities, and understanding that mom is human and mom needs time. With my kids, when I would get mad, I would say, when I went silent, that's when they got scared. Mom's silent. She's finished.
There's something going on.
We haven't listened. What's going to happen next? And they get those keys. The Shirley Temple or whatever it is. They get those keys, and if they honor that, that means they're going to honor themselves and the time they need in their lives, their space, which is very important for them to carry forward in life.
Right. And it's just the little things: feeding the dog, emptying the dishwasher, taking the trash out, just a few little things that they can take off my plate. But it also teaches them the importance of helping out and being there for each other.
Yes, exactly. Not enough is done. It used to always be, right? We all had to pitch in. We all had to do something. And then it kind of became this thing is that we've got to do everything for our kids. And it's like, well, where did they learn to fish? Where did they learn to take care of themselves? And as you said, your kids are outside playing. And when today, you just see kids walking around, in the template, and it's like, play in the mud, be creative, play things that are wonderful, that use your imagination, that, can just take you out there. If you don't dabble into the creativity yourself and be imaginative, you are killing those creative cells in your body.
So true.
The phone and everything else that they're constantly on is dumbing them down.
It is. And if you think about social
creativity,
right. And if you think about social media, if you're even as an adult, if you're constantly on that, it's not real all the time. This is not just the best marriage where they never argue and they're always happy and they're always on this date and they're doing this, they're wearing the best clothes. That's not real. No. And I don't want my children to think that that's real. One thing I definitely pride myself, me and my husband, we always tell them the truth. There is no reason to lie. There's nothing in life that is perfect. Now, somebody tells you that, they're lying. There's no such thing as perfection. And I want children to see, I want them to be real. I want them to enjoy real life, not just get all caught up in social media and say, that's why when I do my talks, I want people to see I've lost a child. I have healed from it, but you don't ever forget it.
No,
it's never going to just go away. I want people to see that it's still painful to think about that. I want them to see that my life isn't just rainbows and butterflies because I finally found myself. I still have hard days, and I will, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yes. How do we deal with those hard days? Number one, nurture yourself.
Self-care, self-care.
Whatever you need today to get through that day, and self-love has to come first.
Yes, yes,
This
yes,
is the
yes.
time you call on friends or anyone else and say, take the kids. I need this time for me. I need to pour that love into me. I need to have those tears. I need to feel a little sorrow so I can spend that emotion
Right.
and move on. And one of the things that we've got to learn to do is ask other people to step in and help us.
Yes, you know, we've talked about this, but it's like we get trained in our brain. We have to do it all on ourselves, all on our own, all on ourselves. You know, being military, that sucks because if your husband's deployed, I need help. But I will tell you, it took me a long time to realize that. And as soon as I did, I became so much happier because your true friends, they want to help you. I want to help my friends and they want to help you. So you just have to come to that point where you need help. And I promise you, it's so worth it in the end. And all your relationships and your friendships grow even deeper. And you know, okay, here comes the next deployment. I know I can call Susie, Joe, and you know, whoever it is. You know, you just know those people.
Yes. I had 3 kids and my girlfriend had 3 kids. And so we would go off and do things together with our kids. And like we would take them off to the fairground and we would hire a babysitter to look after that age group. Well, we could look after this age group. So, you know, everyone was being dragged around. I would have the kids for a weekend. She would have the kids for a weekend, giving each other a respite. And, you know, this is the thing. We're a global village. We're only as strong as we are supportive of each other.
So true.
And it is, do not, as you said, this facade. There was a friend my mum had where her hair was never out of place. Nothing was ever out of place. So, you know, if you moved one thing out of place at the lunch table, it would be a freak out. And she was, they were going to a party one day. Her husband had bought her a brand new car. And she said, I don't know what to wear. And he said, you've got a lot of things in your wardrobe. Wear one of those. She very quietly went and got into the car, backed it up and drove it into the house.
Oh my God.
And she was one of those women so wound up in the perfection, in the facade of perfection, that bing, that spring just completely went. You know, you talk about perfection. There is no such thing as perfection, but we have to understand we are perfect in our imperfections.
So true. So true. That makes me just, yes, that is so true. And
we all, you know, that's
unique. Right. And that's what other people need. They need to see that there's realness and it's not perfection. And that's how you relate to other people. It's such a beautiful thing when you can just keep it real and keep it honest.
Yes. I mean, no apologies. I am what I am, as Popeye says. You
know?
It's
so true. If I'm doing a live on Facebook or something and my dog jumps in or a baby starts crying, that's real life. Yes. That's real life.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I'm doing these shows. I had a beautiful one yesterday, but unfortunately she was in Montana. And very often I would get the freezing. You know? And what we have to do is just own it. Own it.
Right.
You know, we're not in charge of the internet. It's an energy all onto its own. And if it's playing up today, we have no power over that. So why get your knickers in a twist over it? You know, take a breath. Take a breath.
Yes, I agree.
So this lighthouse program of yours that you started, you know, the spiritual lighthouse and healing and guidance obviously has come a great deal from not only what you knew you needed, but also, as I said, the best teachers are those that have gone through the process because you've learned what works for you. You've learned what attitude you need to be in, what gratitude you need to be in. You found your strength, you found your courage, and now you know what you can put together that can help other people on their struggle of life, right? So that makes the best teachers of those that have gone through the process. Is this, in your case, everything that you've accumulated that worked for you that you are now passing on?
It is. It's like I shared at the beginning of this, it's been a journey for me. I've been through quite a bit and I wouldn't change that. And so I want, especially women, to see that they are enough. They are enough. And it's something I've struggled with my entire life, wondering, do I deserve to be happy? Do I deserve to work through losing a child? Do I deserve to work through a rape I experienced? Absolutely, I do. Yes. But it's taken me a long time. And another thing is being grateful for the good things in your life. Every day when I wake up, I list 15 things in my mind. I'm grateful for my marriage, 15 things, my marriage, my children. And starting your day off like that,
yes,
it is so beautiful, and it affects the rest of your day in the best way possible. And I want to encourage women to do that. So as you pass a mirror, say, I love you, Nicole.
Yes.
You're beautiful. That's such a big thing to do. And it will just make you so much happier in your life. Even when you go through those darkest moments, you should cling to what you're grateful for. Because once you get over life's a journey, not a destination. You're always living life. You're always going to the next thing, And it's such a beautiful thing to be able to take a breath, sit back, and look at this. Look what you've been able to work through. Look at it. It's such a gift to be able to do that. And
Yes.
I want women to see what a gift it is, and that they deserve to be loved, and they are enough, like I said, and that they're beautiful from the inside out. I want to teach women that, because it's just, we're so hard on ourselves. We're the worst critics. Think about how hard you are. I don't look pretty enough. I don't have the right makeup. I don't have the right clothes. My children do. No, that's not what life's about. That's just not it.
No. Comparison and competition are killers.
It's killers.
And we've been taught, that you have to measure yourself up between A, B, and C. The society's expectation of this measures your success in life. A whole load of codswallop. Right?
That's so true.
Absolutely. I had a company for a brief while called The Importance of You, which is not self-importance. Self-importance is bordering narcissism, where it is about you above anyone else, and at the sacrifice in anyone else. But the importance of you is your cup needs to be full so it can runneth over.
So true. So true.
The more love and gratitude you have in your heart, the more you're going to exude that vibrationally out to everyone else.
Right. I pray every single day as I talk about the things I've been through, losing my son Samuel, my rape, being abused in my first marriage. If it helps one person, then it was worth it.
Yes.
I could care less about myself. You know what I mean with that.
Yes.
But if it helps one person, that I'm sharing my heart, my alcoholism, trying to attempt suicide several times, if it helps one person, then it's worth it to me. I could care less if I'm ever famous for this, or my company does this, or my book does. That's not what it's about.
No.
It's about being there for each other. And it is sure as heck not a competition. I have no clue why women try to compete with each other. Why? What is the purpose of that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are we not rooting each other on? Being each other's biggest cheerleader.
Exactly.
I don't get that one.
No, I don't either. And it's, you should do this and you should do that. Instead you can rephrase it. Have you ever thought of doing this?
Right.
That's an invitation.
But society's so bad at it.
But you should do this and you should do that. Is a dictation.
Yeah. It makes me laugh when I think about, they say, okay, don't wear white during the winter. Don't wear this color. Don't 2.5 kids. You should have 2.5 kids. All the stuff that society puts on our shoulders.
Half a kid. Which half are you meant to have? Or is it split up?
What is that? Half a kid. I don't know. And we should all have blonde hair and be 6 feet tall and this skinny. Why? I like my chocolate. I like my burgers, and I'm happy.
Exactly. And, I went to doing, I've been doing this for 9 years. So the first 6 years was just audio. And then 3 years ago, I went to doing the video as well. And at first I got talked into it. And at first I heard my voice say, yeah, but who wants to look at this old broad with gray hair? Right.
And then
my other voice came in and said, it's not about how you look, it's about the content. And if they can't hear the content because of the looks, they're not ready for the information.
So true. Right. So true. If somebody's going to sit here and focus on what color my hair is or what color shirt I'm wearing. No, they shouldn't. Nope. They should be listening. They're not ready.
No. And the thing is when you are on that resonant of vibration, of love, of kindness, of consideration, of compassion, when you're in that vibration, it transcends anything else. It's what people feel from you first before they even see you. So that is where the beauty is. It's the inside out, not this exterior package.
Right. I noticed once I stopped drinking and I stopped wallowing in my pain, all the things I've been through, and just wanted to remain in bed and not, get ready for the day and just be miserable, really. As soon as I turned that, and I became happy, and I worked through it, and I got sober, and I got clean. Did you know the amount of friends I had was so much more? The positive things in life were so much better. We were finally able to buy a home, all this different stuff. It's like a trickle effect.
Yes.
As soon as you start being happy and positive and turn your frown upside down, so much life becomes so much more beautiful, and all these positive things start to happen to you. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. You know, our emotions are an indication of what we're going through at the time, what's happening to us, our reaction to it. So I always say, tap into your emotions, but don't become emotional about them. And where we get stuck is we get stuck on the fact, I'm the victim. Somebody took advantage of me. I lost my child. I'm the victim. That is one of the journeys that you had to go through to discover your strength, to discover your courage, to discover what gift it was. And because out of anything that happens to us, and I'm a subject of rape as well, I've had miscarriages, fortunately never a child die in my arms, so I'm blessed that way. But I've gone through my own shoot in life as well. And I realized my own self-persecution for allowing it to happen, or for being the victim in the first place, or not feeling enough, was my own judgment on me. And I would allow that judgment to become a chorus with everyone else around me. Right? When you change your tune and you change what you're saying to yourself, you change that whole frequency and vibration, other people are going to rise up to that vibration and treat you on that frequency.
So true. As soon as I looked at everything, instead of like, I'm such a victim, I'm the one that should have died, I'm the one, I need a drink. Life became so much more beautiful, and as soon as I started wording it that I'm a warrior, instead of a victim, I'm a survivor instead of a victim. That's where you find happiness. That's when you say, oh my gosh, I made it through that. I made it through losing a child in my arms. I can do anything now. I can really do anything.
And that was your first child, right?
It was.
So all the children you've had since then that you hold in your arms, you look at them differently. It's a different vibration.
So
it's a different frequency. It is that gratitude and never taking for granted.
Oh no. It even goes to when Samuel died, my son, I only had maybe 10 pictures. Maybe that was it. My kids, I'm crazy though. I take at least 20 pictures a day now. I want to get everything. If God forbid, I've seen that you're not promised this tomorrow. If something happens, I want to have everything with photography. My kids are like, okay, mommy, just another picture. But I have everything. If I ever question anything, if my memory ever goes away, I have it all there.
Right down here, I've got 2 rows of photo albums, because that's what we used to have, folks, photo albums before we went digital. And, now I kind of take pictures and make digital books for people.
I love that.
And I'm constantly, that's one thing I do love about the social media, is that, everyday memories come up and from something from the past that you've posted, and you can repost it. And I've got a daughter that any day now is going to have our first grandson. Get fast of grandma. I am so excited. This gray hair's got to have a reason behind it. So we're literally on the countdown right now. And it's like, I had an ectopic pregnancy way back, and I lost my ovary and my tube, and they told me I would never have kids. There was too much damage. And I proceeded to have 4 conceptions and 3 children after that. So people, along the way, you can't do this. You can't, it will never happen. That's not going to happen. I knew I was going to be a mother and going to birth children. And I went and planned them. Planned each and every one of them. With 1 tube, 1 ovary, I had 3 kids. So
that's amazing.
You don't give up. You don't give in,
No. As scared as I was after I lost Samuel, and as scared as my rainbow baby Lily and Grace, the one after him, how hard that was, because I was so fearful something's going to happen. It didn't stop me. I knew I wanted babies. I knew I wanted babies when I was a little girl. That was just such a dream of mine, to be a mom. And I didn't come from a big family, but it was just, I wanted a big one, and God provided that for me. Even after I lost a child and had 2 miscarriages as well. But it wasn't going to stop me. I knew what I wanted, and it didn't matter what anyone said. I was going to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. When the will is there, the way will be. And even if it ends up being you physically, through hysterectomy or whatever the case, can't have a child, there is a child out there that
So
needs you.
true.
You know, we see it with animals, with pets.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've got a pet, that pet's chosen me. We you
Mm-hmm.
know, the everybody's patting this one, and that one will come from the back and just climb into me. I'm yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for a child that somebody gave birth to and cannot, for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
bring up. That child's vibration is waiting for you. So whether
Mm-hmm.
you can physically happen them or you're just meant to mother another child, there's always a way. Don't get stuck in the what you can't do. There is always an option to what you can do.
So true. Like you just said, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And as women, we can make it happen.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
will, there's a way.
Yeah. I mean, that's the multitasking, you know, that way
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
work. What? I lost you?
Uh-oh.
Ah, there we go. Got you back.
Oh.
Good. That's the whole thing, I think, is the attitude, isn't it? You know, that the youngest person I interviewed was a 10-year-old who wrote a book, 365 Days of Gratitude with a Positive Attitude. And it was just simply every day, I'm very grateful for this, I'm very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting to kind of change the way I would do the interview. And I was blown away by just the simplicity. You know, one of the statements was, it's like, what I don't understand, if doing that makes you unhappy, why do you keep doing it? Go and do something that makes you glad. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why as adults, oh, I hate my job, but I'm going back again tomorrow. You know, I'm so unhappy in my marriage, but I'm going to stay. Oh, I don't like the way I feel, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Hello?
Right? That's what the universe is about. You
Yes.
can.
Yes.
You can change it.
Yes.
And if that situation is not fixable, then go to the next, because there's
Yes.
always a next. We live in a
Yes.
big world. It's full of choices, full of opportunities. And that's why stay in a situation that doesn't make you happy? That makes no sense to me.
None whatsoever. Because your misery now begets, you know, misery loves company. It brings another miserable people. And then
Mhm.
also positive people don't want to be around you because you're miserable all the time.
Right. And that's what there's the beauty of affirmations. Affirmations are a beautiful thing. You know, I sometimes write down some things that, okay, what are some things that are kind of pulling me down, making me feel like I'm not good enough or I'm not deserving. And then you can turn that into a positive. Okay, well, I'm not loving where we're stationed right now, but at least we're here, we're near the beach, and in a few months we'll end up somewhere new, you know,
And you're
it's a new
together.
opportunity.
And
yes,
you're together.
we're together.
Yes.
We're together.
Yes.
And we have a very solid marriage. There's a lot of people that don't. I'm very blessed to be married to my best friend. And that's a positive thing. We're not perfect. We still argue. We're married.
Yes.
But I still love them. I love them so much. And that's important. That's important to be seen praises as something like that.
You know, they also say that with children, never fight in front of your children. And to a point, yes. But at the same time, you know, it got to be in my marriage. I mean, my husband was a browbeater. And so he would say things that were derogatory of this or that. It didn't matter if I retreated from him, he would follow. He was the piranha. And it was my kids that would stand up and go, no, this isn't going to happen anymore. It was my kids that said, you're going to divorce. I'm tired of you being unhappy. I'm here because I wait for you kids to finish school. And my youngest at that point, the one that's pregnant, said, forget about that. We're ready now. You know, your misery and the arguments are pulling us down.
Right. And that also shows that your children are always watching you.
Exactly.
They're always watching. They're always
doesn't matter
listening.
what you want to hide. They know.
They know.
Yeah.
They know. Yeah.
And the problem is, depending on the age, they will take it on as their fault. I must be doing something wrong. So this conversation with your children, you know, mom and dad are going through a hard time right now, you know, whatever we're going through has no effect on you children. Well, it has an effect on the children, but it's no fault of your children. And this whole thing of like, don't you know, include the children. We need to, at a point, be open and honest with them.
Oh yeah.
They know something's going on.
Right.
And well, we need to speak, you know, obviously engaging on their age, but let's have some respect for their own intellect.
I agree with that. You know, when I think about like Samuel, his angel date, the day he passed away is coming up soon. It's March 2nd. My kids have seen me crying. They've seen that I'm emotional. But if I just one thing that I do with my children is I talk about Samuel every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I talk that they have a brother. They know they have a brother. If we see a red cardinal, that's Samuel. If we see a blue butterfly, that's Samuel. I have a table in our house with all his newborn pictures on it and gifts I was given at his funeral. And I want them to know that they have a brother. And I want them to know that it's tough on mommy.
Yes.
If I kept that a secret, they would not know while I'm sitting around
Right.
crying, or why I need to have a special conversation with daddy, or why I need to go to his gravesite, that, you know, that, or why I need to leave the house. They wouldn't know that. And I want them to see that life is tough. And if you lose a child, that's about the toughest thing you
Yes.
can go through.
Yeah.
And I want them to see that it's okay to grieve. It's okay to be emotional about that.
Very, very important for them to do that, because that's permission for them to have emotions themselves.
Right.
A friend of mine, and one of my son's good friends at 13 just died in his sleep, and nobody knew why. It ended up later, her mother telling her that she lost children that way, and they never understood why. He was perfectly healthy, nothing wrong. He just didn't wake up. Unfortunately, she went down the spiral. She got cancer. She ended up divorcing. All it was her child, that child, Carl. She had 2 other children, and they felt neglected because it was all about the child that had passed and not about the children that are still there. And they had lost a brother as well. And nobody was taking into consideration that. And they were also feeling, well, you know, Carl is up there, and he was a wonderful child. He was the one at school break would call his parents to find out how their day is going. You know, he was one of those souls. And, you know, my son loved him. He was such a great kid. But they felt left out. A, of the grieving process, and B, they felt not enough. By you talking to your children about Samuel who died, it's not, I love him more than you. Is that I still love him just because he's gone. I still love him and always will, and you can love him too.
Yes, yes, yes. We talk about, it's really neat. He was born on December 22nd, and we talk about what would he want for Christmas this year, and what would his favorite color be. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. I want him to be incorporated, part of our life forever, because what if one of my children loses a child? I want them to see mommy did, and she's okay.
Yes.
She's stronger because of it. She's a better mommy because of it. She's a better person. She's more, I'm so engaged with my children. I don't even like for them to go to their grandmothers. I want to be with my children every single day, because they're just my world. However, I will say there's also an importance to marriage, and you need your space from your children sometimes.
Yes.
My husband and I, we make sure to go on a date every other weekend, and we don't even talk about the kids. We don't talk about our jobs. We talk about our life, what we're doing, why we're happy, what's going on in our life. And it's very important too that you separate some of that sometimes, and you work in your marriage, not just on your marriage.
Yes.
So I want my kids to see that too. Another thing, they're watching, they're listening. So when they get older, I hope they do the same. You know, I didn't learn that in my first marriage.
Right.
Wasn't going to make that mistake again. So I want to teach them what a beautiful marriage can be about.
Yeah. And that's the very, very important thing. You know, in my divorce, it was, look, you know, they knew exactly why we had to part. You know, and even my kids said, yeah, I just don't know how you even got together in the first place. And I said, to have you children. He was chosen to be your father. And my children are half Chinese, and they're 3 beautiful, wonderful children. I'm very, very, very blessed to have them. They're all in their 30s now. First grandchild came in because that's, you know, slow on the mark to give me grandkids, but hopefully that will gather. And the beauty of it is they have their own relationship with their own father now, because I've said your relationship with him is your choice. It's got nothing to do with me, right? Whatever my relationship with him was spousal. Your relationship is father and child, and what relationship you have with them is what you make out of it. And so there was that way, you know, your father this or your mother that. You know, it was, and we both walked our daughter down the aisle together.
Oh,
and
that's beautiful.
So, you know, we're not buddies or anything. We see each other at events, and we can have. It's been 20 years since we've been apart anyway, but we can own up to something and go, okay, we just oil and water, we didn't work. We can also look at a situation with our work, this, you know, okay, this was paying a good job, but the cost of what it's doing for me is too expensive. compared to the money I'm earning. The friendships that I have are so toxic. It's affecting my home life. We have to stop and look at certain points. What's affecting us and why are we still in it? Because it's okay to change.
It's definitely okay to change. And I love what you said there about your ex-husband, that his relationship with the children is different than your relationship with him was. The same thing, my children, their biological father was out of the picture when mine were 1, 2, and I was pregnant. And they don't really remember him. And he signed over his parental rights pretty much right away to my husband now. But when they asked me, Mommy, why were you with him? Because he abused me after we lost a son. He emotionally and mentally abused me. And I tell them the same thing. I was with him to have you.
Yes.
I was with him. And they don't 100%, they're still a bit young, so they don't 100% grasp that, but they will one day. They will see that there was a purpose. If I hadn't been with him, I wouldn't have them today.
And what a gift they are. These are my 3. This is my daughter's wedding. The ring is causing a bit of a thing. There's the one in the middle that is getting married there. And I have a wonderful relationship with my kids. And it's not an apple pie relationship. It's they recognize mom's different. They've also, the woman that brought them up is very different to the woman I am today. The heart is still the same. The philosophy is still the same, but I have placed more importance upon myself and less the bad person. And so for the girls, where at first it was, my oldest daughter especially was in abusive relationships for a while, because that's what she knew. As she saw me become more empowered in myself and become more my ownership, right, and not submitting, it gave her more empowerment to be herself. So we've got to understand that being selfish in our own recovery is a reflection for your children to understand how important it is for you to place that time upon yourself, and the standard and boundaries that you have for yourself in your life, so they can learn where their boundaries are.
Yes, I love that. They definitely watch your growth. They definitely do. When you say you're not the same woman, you're different. You've grown. My son, a few weeks ago, he said, Mommy, you're more beautiful. I've never seen you so happy. My little daughter's like, this girl's on fire, and was playing the music, this girl is on fire. But they see that. Yes. They know that Mommy's changed. I've never been happier. And my children see that,
Yes.
They see that I've grown. They see that I've changed. Yeah. And that's okay. It's a great thing to grow and change.
Absolutely. And look at the investment that you've now made in the children, because you invested in yourself. Your cup runneth over.
It does. It does.
And all that self-love and love of life and love of meaningful purpose, it's all been abundant in you, running over and just trickling all over them. And it's like, when Harry met Sally, I'll have what she's having, it's like, if mom's this happy, I've clearly got to do what mom, I've got to listen to mom, because I want to be that happy. Right.
That is my wish for my children. That is my wish, that they can see Mommy has been through quite a bit, but it's okay. She's healed from it, and she is stronger because of it.
I mean, I'm single, have been for a very long time. And my kids, Mom, you need someone in your life. And I say, I don't need.
No,
I'm very happy.
That's
I am very happy being with myself. I would like someone in my life. That would be very nice, but not at the cost of me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm happy to be with myself.
Yeah. Well, and I used to think that for a long time. I thought I needed my husband. I love my husband. I want my husband. He makes me a better woman, but I don't need it. No. The only thing I need, I am a firm believer. So I need God, but do I need a man? I want a man. It makes me happy, but it's not a need.
Yes. And I think when you are less needy in life over anything, you're more appreciative of what you actually do have. And, you know for yourself, you do not have 24/7 with your husband. But when you do have that time together, it's just so much more enriching. And this is one thing that COVID has done, where it's some people have made it and some people haven't. Suddenly, they're all under one roof. Schooling the kids, working from home, having to be together 24/7. And it's made some marriages and it's broken some others up, because part-time husbands or part-time wives. They weren't full-time.
Right.
And the full-time doesn't mean you have to be full-time with each other. Is this the
Right.
commitment of being with each other is full-time, but it
So
doesn't mean
true.
you are with each other all the time.
Right. There's been some goodness from it. I would say, I was telling my husband when we were back in DC, the neighbors, they were all home. He started riding his bike. Oh, hello?
Yeah,
Are you there?
Yeah, get you
Okay.
back. There we go.
He started riding his bike with his daughter. He's built a tree house for her. One thing that we implemented as movie nights every Friday night as a family. There is total goodness. That's
Yes.
another thing. If you can look at the goodness of it,
Yeah.
you'll be so much happier.
Yes.
So much happier.
Yes. Life is about joy. Somewhere along this line, this doctrine came on of that life is about suffering. Yes, it's about struggle. Because if we didn't struggle, we wouldn't appreciate what we have. We wouldn't value
Amen.
it, and we wouldn't look after it, nurture it. Yes, we're meant to have the struggles to discover how strong and our abilities and our courage, all of that is an enhancement of ourselves. But this sacrifice of self is, again, very often a religious male doctrine that you have to sacrifice yourself, which I totally disagree with. My God is of love and loves anybody, black, white, pink, yellow, polka dot, gay, straight, whatever the case is. It's the heart and soul of a person, the character of a person, not the encasing, not the choices, sexual choices or political choices. And if we could look at each other's hearts and souls and celebrate those, what a beautiful world we would be in.
So beautiful, so beautiful. I believe that everything I had, if you could see it, I've got love everywhere. It's written everywhere because it's such a beautiful thing to just love. I mean, I love love.
Yes.
It makes the world so different and so much happier. Why are we not all loving each other? Why is it a competition? Why is it, why? That's something I just won't ever understand because love is such a more beautiful thing. You should love everything. And if you don't love it, then go to the next because that's okay too.
Don't feed the hate. We're seeing so much hate rhetoric out there. Where is that hate coming from? It's coming from fear, right? Because a lack of education, of understanding differences. It's coming from insecurity, where people do not feel secure in themselves, so therefore they have to hate someone to justify who they are. And it's also an easy cop-out. Right? To love yourself and love your fellow man and to love other people is very, very important. It's a vibration that begets a vibration. So does hate. It takes more energy to hate.
It so does.
And it zaps you. It depletes you. It destroys you.
Yes.
Love propels you. It's always creative. It's always growing. It's always lifting you up. Which one do you want to feed?
Right. That's true. And if you think about that, if you're going through something with a friend or there's somebody that's negative and pulling you down, why do you want to have that? Why do you want that? Like that's not, it doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good.
No, I had a friend that used to call me all the time, every week for about an hour and a half. And it would start off with, I'm going to jump off the bridge. And then the next hour and a half, it would be the moan and groan about everything. And then one day, and she said, not even how are you, Sarah, or anything. I'm going to jump off the bridge. And I just said, okay, tell me which bridge. And she goes, what? And I said, look, you call me every week. Nothing I am saying to you is obviously worked. You're hell-bent on jumping off a bridge. Tell me which one it is so we can retrieve the body. And I said, I'm tired of hearing about it. You've got to understand, but if you don't like where your life is at, the only person that can change it is you.
Yep. I hear you. The only person that can
jump off any bridge.
No. Yeah, I think that's just it sounds like a bit of an attention seeker.
Yes, definitely.
You know, because I bet when you said, where are you going to jump? She has, I don't know. I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, that my mom taught me, and it took me a long time to really understand what she was saying. The value you put on yourself is the value you're taken for. And I used to put a value on myself of what I thought people wanted me to be, instead of a value on myself of who I really am and that I'm enough. It took me many, 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 many years to understand that. And that goes for everything we do in life. Where is the value in it? And I'm not talking dollars and cents. I'm talking heart and consciousness and contribution, service. I'm talking about that.
Yeah, I lived for a long time just being that military spouse that I thought everybody wanted to see. You had to wear the little blazers. You had to look like this. You couldn't get tattoos. You don't have any piercings. And we moved to Florida. And after I took this last year to just find myself, I mean, I went out to Sedona for a while and just completely let go, let God. It is finished. I came back, got 3 new tattoos, got my nose pierced, and I'm so much more happy.
Yay!
Wear whatever I want to wear. I don't have to wear a dress all the time. If I want a tattoo, I'm getting a tattoo. You know?
Yeah, I've got one right here, but my daughter's designed. It's 2 butterflies forming 1 butterfly, and it's forming the eggs. In Celtic runes, the eggs means gifu or gibu, depending where you'd think, and it is a gift of partnership. So my gift of partnership is with my children, right?
I love that. That's
tattoo
beautiful.
represents that. And, you know, I'm tired of people telling me what I
can and can't do.
Exactly. You know, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm somebody's strong cup of black coffee.
I love that you know,
that's okay. It's okay.
Right. You don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. Do what makes you happy. You're not going to be friends with everyone in the world. You're not going to have 1 million likes on Facebook. Who cares?
Exactly.
Go be you. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I get this with the shows. Well, how many followers? You've got to have at least 5,000 followers. I said, if 1 person listens to the show and it pivots 1% into a new direction, hallelujah.
That's exactly what I think. I love that.
We're putting this show out. If it inspires someone and invites them to shift their perspective, shift in a different direction that's better for them, we've done our job. But all we can do is put it out there and be invitational, be inspirational. Amen. It's up to the person listening as to what they're going to do with it.
Right. So true. You know, I'm a firm believer that you have to be ready. You have to be ready to get help. You have to be ready to change. You have to be ready to be happy. You have to be ready, because if you're not going to do it, you know? You just have to be ready for that.
You put out a posting, which I loved, and I've snatched and I've put on your show posting here because I loved it. It's a beautiful big smiley face. And you say, let's pray together. Let's be together. Let's, above all, let's do the hard life together while we are holding hands, singing praise, and root for each other. It's so goddamn simple. It is so simple. You know, but it is like, why do we choose to make life so complex? Why?
No, I have no clue. I can't answer that for you. I have no clue, because it's so simple. It's so easy. It really is. And it's not worth it to make it all difficult. And it's just not worth it.
No. And you know, that means saying no more often. Right? You know, no, sorry, I don't have time, or I don't wish to do that. Thank you very much. Saying yes to what you really do want to do, right? Not letting yourself or someone else talk you out of it, right? Which is important. Those boundaries are not borders, right? We don't have borders in the universal energy, in God's love. We have no borders, but we do have boundaries, and the boundaries are a frequency and a vibration of love. The higher that frequency, the more there is that love in truth. So those boundaries are there of what you will and will not do, or whom you will do it with. And that is your own self-worth and standard you're putting up on yourself, right?
So true. I used to feel so bad to tell somebody no. It was yes to everything. You too? And then I was like, why am I doing this?
I know.
I can't give them my best because I'm exhausted, or I want to spend this day with my kids, not, you know, going to grab coffee. And that's okay.
Yes.
That's really okay.
Yes, it is. And you know, that the Dawn runes for agreements, which I'm often referring to, speak your word with integrity, right? Do not assume, ask, right? Don't take things personally. They're imposing upon you from their perspective. That doesn't mean it's a reflection on you. And simply do your best, measured by what you deem is your best, not somebody else's standard.
So true. Love that. Love that. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
4 easy codes to live by. And if we do that, if we live by a code and a philosophy, and it's based in love, there is only one way to go, and that is up.
Up.
Yeah.
That's what I say all the time. If I've had a bad day yesterday, it can only go up from there.
Exactly. And it's okay to have a bad day. I mean, what you've been doing with your videos is permission to have a bad day.
Yep.
You know, you're saying that the day is drawing near. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. You never get over losing a
Never.
child, but you have managed to get through it. And
Yes.
that is the difference. And, you know, the alcoholism, for you to say, I'm alcoholic. I had a guy on that was a highly successful businessman, and it ended up him getting into the cocaine and the heroin because he just made money and he was in that circle. And it took him being in jail, talking to a humble man who said the right things to him at the right time that changed his life around completely. But then what he did, he brought out a law of anti-stigma so that you could not stigmatize against people who were being alcoholic or drug addicts. And he also set up a foundation, the Ryan's Fund, to support children of addictive parents. You see, out of every struggle, there is some beautiful nugget that comes out that
Yeah.
serves others. And
Yeah.
because of your struggles, that's what you're doing now with your lighthouse spirituality. You're being able to pass on that nugget.
Yes. It's been my dream to be that lighthouse for others, to show them the way, to show them the light, that you can get through the struggles. Like I said, get to the other side and you're going to be okay. And it's perfectly okay to ask for help. We should not be doing it alone. We should not be doing it alone. That's why God created all these people, so we could be there for each other.
Yes. He could have achieved, you know, with one person, if that was the case. You know, we're here as a village to support one another and make that village as strong as possible.
It takes a village.
It does. It most certainly does. So what are your programs that you do? What's the process?
Some of the things I do?
Yes, in the lighthouse.
I do retreats for women, or I have 6 women. We get together, we spend a long weekend together, and we talk about the things that we've been through, and I help them work through those things. I also do one-on-one counseling. I'm a Holy Fire 3 Karuna 2 Reiki master, so I also do Reiki energy healing. I've got a book that's going to be coming out. It's just this goodness. Thank you. It's just goodness to just help others. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do is help others. So whatever it takes, I will do it.
Yeah. And the thing is, people don't understand the power of a conversation. A, it is, I am willing to hear your story. B, it's permission for you to share your story, however painful it is, no matter what it is. And also, I am here for you to support your story. Yes. And that is so healing, isn't it?
Yes, so healing, so healing. You know, life is really about relationships. And when you can build those relationships, that's where you can help. You can help people when you're building those.
Yeah. Sorry, this is from my daughter's baby shower, which we did online, and I can't get rid of it. And in every show,
it's like, this must be it.
You know, I've got a positive rainbow there. So,
I love the rainbow.
Right. Yep. There it is gone. So it's always flashed in, and it's I think it's my grandson kind of letting me know I'm coming. But it's got a positive rainbow there. And I think, you know, if we want to know how to tap into joy, watch our animals, watch our children, get out in nature, hear the birds sing, feel the wind in your hair, the ocean against the water or the rivers, be out in the rain and let it wash away your worries. You know, there is always something. But what you've got to do is step out of yourself or your excuse, as your excuse was the bottle, right? Step out of that and know what you need to do in place of that that's going to be more healing and rejuvenating.
So true. I say very often, keep spreading that joy, love, and laughter. That's what everybody needs. And that can only bring true happiness. And it's so important to find happiness. And it's not hard. Don't overthink it.
Keep it simple.
Yes.
Why do we complicate things so much?
I don't know.
I mean, that's what I say. Look at a dog with a stick or a ball. Their tail is wagging.
They're so happy.
A cat, you know, chasing a ball of wool or something around. A child who's giggling over something silly, right? I mean, they're just in simple joy. Why? What is this thing about you've grown up and you've grown out of joy?
So silly.
You know?
Yeah.
Play silly buggers. Go and do something idiotic.
Be silly. You know, with my kids, we'll run out if it's raining on the beach. Let's go run in the rain.
Yeah.
Let's make that memory.
Yes.
That's what life's about.
Yeah.
Be happy. Find the joy.
Yeah. Singing in the rain. Yes.
Yes, and I do that too.
Well, when my kids and I, we used to put on Queen, We Are the Champions or this or that, and we
Oh, that's
all
a good one.
sing and dance at the top of our voices and let it out.
Yes.
And of course, if I really wanted to irritate them, I'd start singing opera and it'd be anything to shut me up. The thing is, even in our discipline, even in our discipline of our own lives, we can still be, joyful. We could still be, from the heart. We could still love life. Doesn't mean, it's delivered as COVID right now, economic stress, political stress. Yes, that's all out there. But what are we going to do about it? What we can do about the COVID is use our common sense. Right? Wash hands, wear a mask, be considerate of someone else. We will get through this.
We will.
Together in respect of one another, and to look at what is the gift in it. And no, I'm not, for people who've lost their lives or lost their loved ones, there's no gift. There is always something to be had from it, but that's a journey of their own. But what is the gift for us? It was a time to stop and to review.
Yes.
To renew, to look at what's needed right now. How can we pivot ourselves to
take a breath and just breathe?
Yes.
Just breathe.
Yes. Yeah. And are you homeschooling your kids?
No. No. No, they're in school.
Because certainly parents had a far bigger appreciation of teachachers. After the lockdown.
A lot of my friends back in DC, they haven't gone back into school. They are still teaching from home. But when I was up there, we did it about 5 or 6 months. And I was like, let's move now. I'm ready to move. Let's move to Florida.
Yeah.
Mama needs a Shirley Temple.
Yes. Big one.
Big one.
What makes you happy that isn't self-destructive, right? And if we're turning to the alcohol, we're turning to the drugs, we're turning to the chocolate overload, Netflix overload, any of that, it is in place of dealing with what's wrong.
Yes.
And what we have to do is face what's wrong.
Correct.
And we have the ability, we have the courage, we have the strength, and you've got the people like yourself to help people through it.
Yes.
So we don't have an excuse.
Nope, no excuses. No excuses. There are too many of us that do care. Like you and I, there's too many of us out there that want to help, that want to guide, that want to help lead. Yes. There's too many of us.
Yes. Come and join us. Our vibration is a good vibration, right?
Let's do it together.
Yes. That's the thing. That's the frequency that we're talking about, right? Getting on the same wavelength and enjoying that beautiful rhythm of life, because life is a rhythm. It's also an algorithm. So, the algorithm is going to give you what you feed. So take a good look at what you're feeding. Are you feeding the sorrow? Are you feeding the hate? Are you feeding the pain? You're not ignoring it by stop feeding it. You're feeding the solution.
Very true. Very true.
It's just ways to be able to get through it, make meaning out of it, and then what to do with it, right?
Yep. There, and you do it. Say a good point that you do have to work through it. You do have to feel the emotions, whatever that you're going through. But the moment you start doing that, the moment you start healing, it's the moment you start healing and feeling better.
Yes. So let's give everybody your website, your social media links, and how people can get hold of you and what you're offering now.
Okay, so my website is spirituallighthousehealing.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. You can look me up on Facebook with Nicole Gebhardt Heals. Let's see, what else did I send you?
Can you spell that, love, for people who don't know how to spell your name?
Oh, yeah, Nicole, Nicole, Gebhardt, Gebhardt. And then Spiritual Lighthouse Healing and Guidance is my Instagram and Facebook pages.
And your LinkedIn is near
it's Nicole Gebhardt
Heals.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, right.
Nicole Gebhardt Heals.
And you're putting out those videos, you're inviting conversation. If by you being open and honest, it's inviting other people to be honest as well. Please, there is no shame in your pain.
No shame in your pain.
But share that pain. Don't dwell and wallow in it. It is like, this is what you're going through. How can we help you go through it?
Right. like I said, we are all in this together. You're not alone.
No.
No one is alone. And it's perfectly okay to ask for help, because
Yes.
so many people want to help.
Yes, we're not alone. You know,
Mm-mm.
God universe is with us. We are with each other. Have I still got you? So there again, case in point, phone died. You changed it over to the computer. We had an interruption for a moment. It wasn't the end of the world.
No, it's not the end of the world.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, let's lighten up. Let's lighten
Yes.
up as human beings. You know, this whole thing about, again, needing to be perfect or live up to expectations is what's causing us to be so wound up
That's so
and
true.
stressed, right? Let
You know,
it
I can think
go.
about my phone just dying. I can start crying, but no, that's just, it's life.
It's
It
life.
happens.
Exactly. And it's one of the reasons I don't do live shows.
That's hard.
Yeah, exactly. One learns. I did them 13 months. I learned. We are adjustable. We are adaptable. We are adoptable. You know, it is all a question of what are we going to feed? What is our attitude going to be? What are we grateful for? If we, as you said, waking up every day with what you're grateful for changes your frequency, your vibration, and you will go through that day on that vibe.
It really is. And if you start a day like that, other things can happen, but you look at it in a different perspective.
Yes.
It's not just like, oh, my walls are crumbling down because
Yeah.
it's raining outside. It's, oh, the plants are getting watered.
Yes.
I'm so grateful for the rain.
Yes.
It's really easy to do.
Right. And you know, when you have those dark, gray, dull days and you just don't feel going out there, then, you know, like yesterday, I just sat down and wrote 2 articles and then did 2 shows on it for the next couple of weeks. It's just like, you know, a pause in your life doesn't mean an ending. It just means
Right.
an opportunity
Yep.
to do something else in that moment.
Yeah. If I have a hard day, my husband is very clear. He said, the sun will come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's always a new day. There's always
Yes.
a new sunrise.
Exactly. And whether it comes up tomorrow or not, the sun can come up within your heart. You can bring the sunshine to
That's
other
beautiful.
people. Right?
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
You're courageous, you're fun,
Thank you.
you're loving, you're exuberant and illuminating. So keep on shining bright. You're speaking for so many people, whether they've lost a child or whether it wasn't alcoholism, it was some other form of addiction. It's the relatability of the struggle that you went through, that you still go through. But that struggle doesn't cripple you anymore, right? You are empowered by the struggle now in being who you are, why you are, what you're doing, and you can stand tall in it now.
And people need to remember, your struggle does not define you.
No.
It does not define you.
No, it doesn't. It's a process you're going through. That's all it is. It is just be willing to constantly walk forward. And you take with you the beautiful memories. You take with you all the skills and tools that you've learned from others along the way, and you apply them when necessary, but be willing to walk forward.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you for coming to share with us. It's been an absolute delight to have you here. You're a joy. There's a couple of people I want to introduce you to that actually are veterans, and one of the beautiful things they've done is they do retreats for spouses for when a vet, you know, the soldier comes back and it's like, well, who are you now?
Yeah.
You know, and the struggle that, you know, the other spouse has gone through while they're away, and they do these wonderful retreats, and they had to do it through going through what they needed in order to stay alive, you know, in themselves. So I definitely need to introduce you to them. And you know, it's thank you to your husband for his service. I'm one that I will always feed love over war, and I think that you know, the less war we have, the more love we will have, and the more creativity and productivity that we will have, right? And the soldier's role will change. So let's be there for each other.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
As easy as that.
Yes. Yes. And don't forget, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say yes to yourself. It's okay to look in the mirror and go, yes, you're beautiful. Oh, yes. You know, I just, you're so courageous. You got through that day. It's okay to say that to yourself.
Yes, and it's perfectly okay. You need to do self-care.
Yes.
You need to do things for yourself. because that's what makes you a better person, a happier person.
Yeah. Yes. And the happier you are, the more joy you bring to others, and the more that ripple effect of joy goes out.
Into your own life.
Yes. Be the symphony that ignites people, right? So thank you so much, Nicole. It's been an absolute delight having you here today.
Much.
And remember, folks, we can all get through it if we're willing to. If we're willing to look and say, I don't want to stay in this pain. I don't want to stay in this sorrow. It was here for a reason. Now, how do I move through, go through the process of recovery? It doesn't mean you forget, but it does mean you're no longer a victim of, right? So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many, many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.